Good morning, Devils fans. It is once again Devils game day after a couple day break. But before I jump into previewing our game versus the Florida Panthers, as you can see, I'm kind of back here with one of my original backdrops. Reason being, if you heard from the last episode, my camera randomly broke basically right as I was recording yesterday. So I'm doing this one on my phone, and one of the listeners recommended in the comments about thinking about maybe getting a tripod to set up my phone on and recording that way. It would also let me to do different backdrops around my house with all my different devil stuff I have going on. So really, I just wanted to check out how the lighting quality was with my phone's camera, how the audio quality is, and just kind of hear some feedback around that. So I'll probably do this for a few days in a row, just in kind of different spots, different camera setup with my phone and all that, and just see what you guys think. Right now, it's a beautiful sunny day down here in South Jersey. I want to see what it's like possibly on an overcast day and all of that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the quality so I can determine, do I just need to buy a new camera for my PC and keep recording there? Do I want to get a tripod for my phone and keep doing it this way for the better backdrop, etc., etc. So anywho, now jumping into the actual Devils hockey. So, like I said at the top, we have a couple day break. First two games were back to back. Generally, with that, there's no real adjustments to be made. You kind of pack it up from the night before, try and get as much sleep as you can, and then rev back up for a game the very next night. Now, the guys have actually had a couple day break. Time to talk to the coaches, review some video, go over some actual changes, which is why I don't go too crazy in game to game adjustments and back to backs. Instead, obviously, you want to kind of look at those over a larger sample size and time period when there's actual practices to address things. So I'm definitely going to be looking for those adjustments in this game. We already know the line change with Palat moving up with Nico and Timo, sliding over to the right wing, and Mercer sliding down to left wing to play with Holtz and Haula. I talked about that a bit on the pod that has come out today. And all in all, I'm kind of mostly fine with it. I definitely would have preferred Holtz and Mercer just to swap, kind of go with the preseason lines to see how those would have done in an actual regular season game. But I'm fine with Palat. He kind of does a lot of the more grittier, nasty work along the boards and behind the net that maybe they're looking to unlock Timo and Nico from. Instead of them doing that themselves, have Palat do it and try to unlock Nico Timo to do what they do offensively. Also, one of my biggest things with that line is I feel like Timo needs to do a lot more of the zone entry, the transition play, as opposed to Nico driving that. Now, I do think both of them can do it. So when you do have the guys trying to shut Timo down on the other team from doing his thing, that's what Nico's there for. A dual threat on a line, just kind of like what we have with Jack and Bratt, is a very good way of always controlling offense. So from there, third line, Hall of Palat, not Hall of, Hall of Mercer Holtz should do pretty well. I still think it's a very, very strong third line compared to basically every other team in the league. So they should be able to feast. And I really haven't had any complaints about the fourth line. It is looking like Nosek's going to be out with an injury, so Lazar draws back in. I think he has had a pretty good preseason and into the regular season. So we'll see how it looks with him back in the lineup with McLeod and Bastion. Defense as a whole, definitely some work to be done there, but it's not been the absolute most biggest monstrosity. We've only had one 5-on-5 goal against, and I mean, even the Nico Timo line that hasn't driven a ton of offense, they haven't really, provided much offense themselves. So they haven't been a negative, but they also really haven't been a net positive either. So same could be said for the defense. They've only given up one 5-on-5 goal. Everything else has been with pulled goalies, penalty kills, stuff like that. So you can't really rip them apart too much, even if they haven't actually dominated play as we might expect from them. Goaltending has kept us in it, thankfully. So if you do want to say, yeah, we haven't given up the goals, that's because of our goaltenders. I'm not going to argue with you. It's pretty true. They've definitely kept us in the game. I thought Vitek was phenomenal. Schmid made a ton of great saves that kept us in it. But same can be said of the other team, right? Vejmelka was insane in that Coyotes game. So he was also a big reason that they got the extra point, not just from the shootout, which you know my thoughts on. Now about Florida themselves. They have not won a game yet. They are 0-2-0 in the regular season. And this is a team that we know has the defensive injuries, which are obviously not helping them. But if you actually dig into the numbers, they've been playing quite well. So that should be a reason to not take this lightly at all. The Devils' numbers are also actually very similar. But Florida's actually gotten most of the damage done against them 5v5. They've actually been a fairly strong special teams team so far, even though the sample size, again, not very large. Going to be saying that a lot here early in the season. So They are driving play. They are controlling offense. They've been out shooting their opponents where we've been getting outshot. So that's something we are definitely going to have to be mindful of. We are going to need a strong start here in the first period, which all the boys have been coming out and saying we need to be better early on. And when you have another team that's been coming in, drives a hard forecheck, which we know is something we have not played the greatest against, and has also been controlling shots, it's going to be a big matchup. This is definitely one that screams a chance for us to have a struggle game in. So this would be a chance for the boys to prove, hey, we can right the ship here in the first period. We can really take and control play. And I think that will allow the boys to gain the confidence that, hey, we can also do this against a top flight team that was just in the Stanley Cup final. So you know they're going to come out ready to put on a show in front of the home crowd once again. Definitely also liking this tripod idea for the phone a lot better as my arm is getting ridiculously tired. I'm going to go ahead and swap off here. Sorry for the shake. Ooh, my shoulder. I got to hit the gym more. On the whole, though, for Florida, again, they have been controlling play. Goaltending has been more so their issue. So we definitely need to try and exploit that with Jack and Brett. Hopefully Nico and Timo can do that against goaltenders that are just not playing their best games right now. And maybe that will help them, once they pot a goal or two each, really get the confidence flowing and allow them to do their thing. Otherwise, I'm expecting a pretty back and forth game. It's going to be a heavy forecheck. They are going to be physical against us. We just need to find our transition game against them and hopefully weather any sort of storm that they do put on. Again, they haven't won a game. They are going to come out super hungry. They do not want to start the season with 3 straight losses. We've gotten a point in both of our games, but that does not mean we can afford a regulation loss by any means. So expecting a big one out of the guys. I really need a strong start to the first. But do not be surprised if this is very back and forth. Do not expect pure domination just because Florida hasn't won a game yet. But with a defense that's missing 2 of their best guys on the back end and goaltenders that are struggling, we should expect to win this one. It's really just going to be on the boys to do their thing. So yeah, going to go ahead and call it there. Prediction, I said on the pod last night, I'm going 5-2 for the boys winning it on this one. I would also like us to get the first goal for once. That would be nice. Be able to actually play with a lead. So far, we've had to have comebacks in both games, and then obviously against the Coyotes, didn't actually secure the second point. Had the lead late in the third, gave up another power play goal against. So yeah, I would like to get an early lead, hopefully a multi-goal lead, and not be on the edge of my seat sweating for 60 plus minutes in these games. That's going to do it, guys. Again, please, some feedback just on the video quality, audio quality, so I can kind of figure out how I want to do these going forward. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils, baby.